Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. All right, guys, today is Wednesday, November the 23rd, 2022. It is our Friday because this is the last episode of the week. Let's jump right into it. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a Thanksgiving episode, so I'm just going to let you guys rate it on how you feel about it. First of all, we see Daniel and Phyllis is running around and she sees Daniel, and it's a nice moment. She's so excited and ecstatic to see him. And she was like, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" He was like, "I wanted to surprise you." And so she's ecstatic to see him. So they sit down, they're talking, they're catching up. They say, "Let's meet up with," he said, "I thought you would want to do something fancy." She said, "No, we can have Chinese." She's just happy to be with him. She said last year was tough. He was gone. Phyllis was overseas. He was in another state with his family. So it was tough. She was all alone by herself last year. But this year she has him and she's grateful for that. And so she says, "I could eat Chinese with you and then we can catch up later after Summer gets done with the Abbott thing." He starts laughing. So she says, after she gets done with that, we can meet up and we can have dessert. And he was like, "Yeah, sounds good." But then Phyllis, she's mama. So she was like, "Nuh-uh, something's going on with you. Like, what's going on? Tell me where Lucy and Heather are." And he says they're in Portugal, and she was like, "Mm-hmm." And he says he doesn't want to talk about it. So, but there is something going on. They are, I guess, in some type of form of separation. And she says, "Well, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm ready to listen." So then we see the Abbott household. They've all to come together. I'm not going to say the names. Y'all know who they are. So they're all come together. But they are truly well. Phyllis is upset when Diane comes in, and she's not upset, but she's annoyed by it because you know how she feels about Diane now. Tracy is Tracy. She's always going to be sweet, and she looked really pretty today. Allie is there and she feels awkward, but Jack and Kyle, they're cool with it because she's there to see them really, and she's happy to be an Abbott again. I'm just gonna call Diana Abbott. It's only a matter of time. So then we see that they all sit down for dinner, and Ashley has been throwing shots, when they were talking about family, because Ashley said she's going to meet up with her family later, and she said because that's what a mother does. She's there, and they say, and Jack stops her by saying, "Allie, is Noah coming over?" And she was like, "Yeah, he loves sweets." And he said, "Obviously." It was a cute moment, y'all. It was cute. But this is what took me out when Diane says, "Did you tell Ashley, to be, play nice today?" And he says, "I've already let her know." Jack, you are nobody's daddy. And so when they get down to the table and Ashley wasn't even saying anything at this point, Jack gonna go over to Ashley and say, I want this to be nice. I want everyone to, not, I don't want people getting into it or making little comments. And she says, "I am being nice, but you sitting here letting her get too comfortable. Tell her don't get that comfortable because we're gonna get rid of her." And I said, once again, Jack, whose daddy are you? You are her brother. You don't dictate the way she reacts. And you are the one who invited Diane, you and Kyle, and didn't think about anybody else. And maybe Ashley didn't want to be there with them. But since Kyle has come home, he's pretty much got to have anything he wanted as far as the Abbott household. But Ashley don't be there hardly anyways. But let's move on, child, because I'm tired of talking about it. So we see Abby. We see Abby, Nikki, and Victor, and she said they're telling her, "Oh, come out to the ranch with you and Chance later." And she tells them, things are going on with her and Chance, but she doesn't want to get into it. And she won't be able to make it to the ranch. And they were like, "Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that." And so then Victor and Nikki talk. And Victor's like, "I wonder what happened." And Nikki said, "I don't know, Victor, but let's not." She told us she don't want to get into it. Let's not get into it. And he was like, "Okay." So then we see Abby and Devon, because he comes and she says, Abby told Devon, "Having you here is calming." She said something along those lines. Seeing him helps her. It calms her. He says anything, and he said, "I'm glad that can happen." I said, "Y'all go on and get together." I'm not mad at Abby and Devon. Honestly, I'm not. I never saw the chemistry there. I always looked at them as just friends, but now that they're trying to have this relationship, I'm not mad at it. So then we see he asks her about Chance, and she says, "I don't think it's, he's moved out. It's over pretty much. He's pretty much said it's over because he moved out." And he's like, "Man, I'm sorry to hear that." So then Victor and Nikki come up. Devon greets them. Everyone says hi. Then they leave. And then Tucker sees Nikki and Victor outside, and he says, "I hope that information was useful." And Nikki said, "It was," and she walks on because they can't stand Tucker. Dang, it's supposed to be 90% chance of rain tomorrow. Oh, rainy Thanksgiving. Anyways, she can't stand Tucker. And so Victor and Tucker talk, and he says, he tries to tell Tucker, well, whatever you trying to do, I'm watching you. Remember, I'm watching you. Tucker don't care nothing about what Victor's telling him, and he goes on in the restaurant. He chuckles and goes in the restaurant. I love me some Tucker, baby, because he doesn't care nothing about Jack or Victor. He was like, I got just as much money as you, just as much influence as you, and there is nothing you can do to me. Because in Tucker's mind, he was like, we're equals. And actually, I feel like I'm above you. You can't go toe to toe with me. So it is what it is. So then Devon and Tucker sit down, and he just tells Devon he wants to be a part of his life. He thought he was going to be doing something with Lily. He said, yeah, later on, and he's probably going to meet up with Billy and Lily, but he's happy to be meet with them, with Tucker. So then we see Nate, and because they're all at the society, y'all. So then we see Nate and Elena come in, and Lily. Abby is like, we could sit you over at the far table that is further away from Devon and Tucker, mainly Devon though. And so Elena said we could just leave, and Nate is like, no, this is your favorite restaurant, and I'm not gonna leave because my cousin is here. So Nate decides to take his butt over there and to speak to Devon as well as Tucker. Now, you could have just went, nodded your head, acknowledged them or whatever, and then went and sat down at your table. But you were the one who wanted to take your butt over there. So don't be mad when the smoke comes. So he comes over there and he speaks to Devon, and he says, Happy Thanksgiving and all that. And Devon is just like, it was until you came over. And so then Nate is like, on Thanksgiving we can't be civil. And so Tucker says Thanksgiving doesn't make up for backstabbing, or just because it's a holiday doesn't mean all is forgiven, all is good is between us, between you and Devon. And he said, I bet Devon ain't gonna forgive you anytime soon, so why don't you keep it moving and go on. And Nate said, well, all due respect, I wasn't talking to you. And Tucker was like, well, I'm talking to you, so you need to move on. He just tell him to move on. And so I guess Nate go and move on and sit down and sit. Then Elena gets all upset. Tucker has no right to talking to you. Elena, you can hush too. You can hush too, because you know the CEO. And to be quite honest, you could have came forward with what Nate had planned and all that as well, and you didn't. So whatever. And Nate shouldn't have took his butt over there to Tucker and Devon. So whatever smoke he had for him, he deserved, and that is what it is. If you're upset, go over there to Tucker and say something, but you're not. So sit there and enjoy your meal with Nate. And Nate says, oh, I'm not worried about Tucker. I can take care of him. No, you can't, but let's move on. No, you can't. So then we see Devon and Tucker talking. He says, I'm sorry about going in like that. And Devon says, I appreciate it, but I can defend myself. And he said, of course. And then Tucker sees Ashley. And he told him, hold on a second. I see my girl. So he gets up and he says, Ashley, what you irritated about? You looking agitated. And she said she just had to suffer through a lunch with Diane. And he said, oh, Lord. And she said, yes. And she was like, that B needs to go. We got to get her out of town. And so then that's it with them, y'all. So then we move over here to Crimson Lights, and the whole Ashley, Sharon and Nick's clan is there. Chelsea and Connor are there. Noah's gonna join them later. Faith is going to a friend's house for Thanksgiving. I said, so Faith just not okay. And then we see Billy and Lily as well. So all of this is going on, and Chelsea said, can I help serve? And the look on Victoria's face, but they said this is Sharon's place, and she said, yes, of course you can help. And so then we see Chelsea and Lily talk, and Chelsea just thanks Lily for her support, and Lily tells her she's glad that Billy was able to help her, and she said he's great. I'm alive because of him. So then Connor tells Johnny, let me talk to you. So he takes him outside and he lets them know, lets him know about Chelsea and what's been going on. And Johnny was like, man, I was so mean to her. I feel like, is it because of me? And he was like, no, mom said it wasn't because of you or me. It wasn't any of that. So, but Johnny still wants to talk to Chelsea. So he tells Billy and Victoria he wants to go talk to her. So he goes and he speaks to her. And he and Chelsea have a really nice conversation. She assures him this had nothing to do with you. What happened? It had nothing to do with you at all. It was all, things that I was going through. But he just tells her he's sorry about everything, and they have a nice conversation and they hold hands in the end. It was really sweet. So then Victoria finds out because Johnny told her why he wanted to go speak to Chelsea, and she's telling Billy, why didn't you tell me? He said that wasn't my secret to tell. Like, it wasn't a secret, but that wasn't his it wasn't his life to tell. It wasn't his business to tell. It wasn't he that's Chelsea's private, mental and health matter that she can tell who she wants to tell. He said Adam and didn't even know about it. Adam and Connor didn't know about it until yesterday. And so Victoria is Victoria. She feels empathy, but she's Victoria. So then we see Billy goes and talks to Chelsea. And he was like, what do you have plans after this? He was like, well, you're the center of attention. She's like, everyone's being so nice. So then he goes and talks to he when he's talking to Chelsea, excuse me, she tells him that, after this, because he asked what she had planned, she said, we're gonna meet with Adam for dessert, and not dessert but dinner. They're having dinner with Adam. And he says, oh well, for dessert you can meet with me, Lily, and Devon, and everything, and have dessert. And Lily comes in and she hears this and she's like, dang, like, because they talked about this earlier, that if Chelsea didn't have any plans, her plans fell through, then they could, invite her. Or, but Lily didn't really want to. And Chelsea has plans. She's having dinner with her son and Adam. So why are you offering this to her? And I said, Lily, move on. And this is exactly, and then we see in the preview where Daniel says he wants to work for Chancellor Winters. I said, this is just so that he can get together with Lily. And then we see where Victor tells Chance, what did you do to my daughter? I said, baby, what did your daughter do to him? You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Um, I guess we're going to say it's the weekend. Be blessed, be safe. I wish you nothing but blessings on your Thanksgiving and your weekend. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you Monday for all new episodes. Goodbye.